so shri ye namo dhamma shri ye so ha o namo manju shri ye namo so shri ye namo dhamma shri ye so ha o namo manju shri ye namo so shri ye namo dhamma shri ye so ha tang ni chu dang zu ge chu na la jiang jiu ba du dan de ge su chi ya ge chu nian ge be cong nan ge 我本界上给诸巴修上，适当做给充当了，将诸巴都当地给组织，他给去年级别充当给，我本界上给诸巴修。适当做给充当了，将诸巴都当地给组织，他给去年级别充当给，我本界上给诸巴修。别给主线没多长，别让灵犀你得给马的，上天心多别得不瓦也，找个男大神来绝巴哟。过路让那门大拉干的呀大呀，all sentient beings have been my mothers, and all sentient beings have been my mothers not just once, but for numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. And how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have happiness and the causes of happiness that are virtues. May all kind mothers, may they have happiness and the causes of happiness, or cause them to have happiness and the causes of happiness. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so, to regenerate loving kindness in this way. Next, we generate bodhicitta. How nice it would be. Sorry. Next, we generate compassion. How nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Or freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate bodhicitta. So, yeah. So, next we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves who should take on the responsibility to free all other sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms. I should take on the responsibility to free all other sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms. However, I do not have the ability to do so now. Who has such abilities? Only those who have achieved the perfectly complete enlightenment have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment.
这些导播呢，有意思的我，在那考虑嘛，这个就是多啊，和确的，就那可能就那本地的中国身上，那我就记得可能讨论出去。
Next, we meditate on emptiness for a short while, that I does not exist as inherently one with or inherently different from the aggregates. Thus, I does not exist as inherently. Thus, I does not exist inherently. If I and the aggregates were inherently one, then they would become inseparably partless one. If I and aggregates were inherently different, they would become unrelatedly others. Thus, I and aggregates does not exist inherently. Thus, I does not exist inherently.
那是跟那学习，而且是的，特别上就是很多的那些的，我讲究让这个自己呢，你自己对你身边的朋友，你都有这些事。
Set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the commentary on Lam Rim teachings and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
我也听有，他这个老师那个活的嘛，第一那个建议开始那个第一次的时候啊，现在都是现在也是嘛，那就。
Yeah, so I summarize the motivation and visualize meditation at the beginning because we do not have much time to cover our lesson. So I summarize it.
这老师嘛，我主要的看到，工作天把的地方的新闻，是把工作天把，这样的工作天把的有啊是地新闻的，他这个嘛都看到给了，他这个嘛写看到了我的工作天把的了，那我参加的话，基本上是。Hakan mostly basında bu demada aslında da bazı sekti çeba yazılımı. Hiç çeba lokalliğe bilse gazına. Çünkü o var hani hiç çeba liğe bilse gazına. Aşağıda niga mıdiba. Hangi agar hangi singi tubası karşı kene vure. Ama hangi bagar hangi singi tubası karşı kene vure bari. Kene vure. Ne oldu? Kada. Nasıl?
So the outline is divisions of conventionalities. So the divisions of conventionalities says it is going to talk about Sangika Madhyamika and Svadhyamika Madhyamika are not important in the modes of perceiving the object of negations. Therefore, uh, they are not similar in differentiating the conventionalities into real and unreal. So the reason is because they are not concordant in perceiving the object of negation, not concordant in not concordant in the modes of perceiving the object of negations, because Svadhantika Madhyamika, they don't assert establishment by way of its own character, and however, Sangika Madhyamika does not assert establishment by way of its own character.
Hadi kadın onlar acı bir şey var. Rahmetsin bir var. Ne oldu? Gece ne var da değil. Bak yine aslında bu yüce yüce yanı çıkarın canı var. Yes. O var yüce. İşte onlar acı bak. Yüce yanı çıkarın canı var. Yes. O yanı çıkarın canı var. Yes. Karısına yüce de bu çıktı var. Ne var? Haşi. Ya. Yes. Mesela ne? Da. Hadi. Yes. O. Yes. Çıkarın canı var. Yes. O.
以前啲羊肉啲米汁會咁先啲啊。
그럼 시바로 나와 시도와 다 열이 있어. 나와 시도 나와 다도 여비 여봐 니 있어도 무엇을 특집에 하는 게 yes. 이거는 양호 맞지 시도와.
Svadhanika Madhyamikas ascertain that consciousness that appears to be established by way of its own intrinsic characteristics. So this one in other words, is established by way of its own character, exists as it appears. So for them, consciousness that appears to be established by way of its own character exists as it appears. Therefore, they do not differentiate between true and false subjects. So subjects like consciousness, they are subjects or object possessors. But instead, they differentiate whether what appears as an object does or does not exist by way of its own character. 미주로, 미주로, 나와 당신 팀이 또 받을 로비 건조는 디 또또로 디 추기보에는 디또 구마리. Yeah, so whether what appears as an object does or does not exist by way of its own intrinsic characteristics in accordance with how it appears. So they assert this in accordance with the following statement in Gyanakaba distinguishing the two truths. So, so regarding these quotations, so the object is divided into real and unreal. So that the real object and unreal object, or the real conventionalities and unreal conventionalities. So when the example is like water and mirage water, or the water of a mirage. So water of a mirage is a real conventionalities for the is an unreal conventionalities, because we can realize, ordinary beings can realize that the water of a mirage does not exist as it appears. So water of a mirage, it appears as a water, or the mirage water, it appears as a water, but it's not a water, right? So ordinary beings regard it, for ordinary beings, they are real conventionalities, because they can realize that the mirage water does not exist as it appears. However, water, so ordinary beings regard it as a real conventionalities, because water appears as truly existent, and they are unable to realize it. They are unable to realize that it does not exist as it appears. Therefore, for ordinary beings who does not realize emptiness, water is a real conventionalities. Our Prasangika system asserts that whatever appears to the ignorant or ignorance as established by way of its intrinsic characteristics, is an appearance of that consciousness polluted by ignorance. So therefore, conventional objects are not differentiated as true and false, or real and unreal. So for Prasangika Madhyamika, whatever appears to the ignorant or ignorance as established by way of its own character is an appearance of that consciousness polluted by ignorance. So it is an appearance polluted by ignorance. So for Prasangika Madhyamika, conventional truth is not differentiated into real and unreal. And the words true and false used in this text, so they are not differentiated into real and unreal, because anything is a conventionality is necessarily unreal. So regardless it is an object or whether it is a subject, and they are ordinary beings who do not realize emptiness are unable to realize that the subject and object does not establish as it appears. So what subject and object appears is they appear as established by way of its own character. Ordinary beings who does not realize emptiness are unable to realize that they do not establish as it appears. So therefore, as long as it is a conventionality, then it is real. For Prasangika.
단조하게 그도 몰라 양다 그거 뭐 니 지금 말해 지대 신고리데 되게 다 양다 그래서 무슨 니 지금 예서 다들 그것은 주시자로 와 어디다 단조하게 지대 신고라데 양다 그거 뭐 니 세번 제대로 예서 와 지대 신고때
신고라 또对羊肉腻
니 제번 제대로 다들 그것은 뭐 주다가 제사이 봐 정어들 막 시에서 다들 여러 와
那些记那的工作点吧，那的引进去拿的萝卜引过来，那的几件新闻了，对工作点吧，
那그때 말에 한다 그게 이거 말이에요. 그때 많이 시대가 한다 많이 벌써 와. 아, 지금 신문인데 한다 그거 집어게 버려야지. 그때 뭔가 그것을 이 쇼사 다들 앉아 좀 먹고 싶어 와.
So in general, for Prasangika, in general, conventional truth is not differentiated into real and unreal, because anything is a conventionality is necessarily unreal. However, conventional truth is divided into two, real and unreal, in relation to worldly consciousness. So for Prasangika, conventional truth is divided into real and unreal in relation to worldly consciousness.
다들 얼마인가? 다들 얼마나 특별한데 지송자 우도와 특별한데 다 시기지 손에데 간다. 다라 샤인지 디바 라 티비 군도 데 말이에서 저 많이 찍군도 데 말이에서 손이도와 시기 손에데 시기 손에데 다라 샤인지 디바라 티비 군도 데 인자 이야 군도 데 말이에서 다라 샤인 군도 데 미소와데 다라 샤인 지디바 디기 뭐라 다 시기지 손에데 시기 많이 봐 시기 많이 말했어. 그러면 시기 많이 봐 그러면 시기 많이 봐 하고 그래서 뭐라 손에데 시기 많이 봐 하고 그래서 하고 와서다 이 뭐라 그 시계벌 그거 때문에 미세하게 된다 그랬습니다. 와 시계벌 시기 손에데 시계벌 그거 때문에 말이에서 로가 있지. 다라 샤인 지디바 디 뭐라 손에데 시기 많이 봐 말했어. 와 그거 대바서 되게 된다 시우다고 근데 시기지 손에데 다라 샤인 지디바 그거 때문에 미스 시우도와 어디
또 미군주 대만 민노
어디 이 미야서 와서 다라 샤인 지디바 디 시기지 군도지 뭐 시기지 손에데 시기가 되게 말이 시기 말해 그 시기 많이 하고 그래서 한번 고아서다 다라 샤인 지디바 뭐라 그거 때문에 말이 예스 그때 미야 저 그거 때문에 말이 예스 저 그거 때문에 임지나 하는 지지 재밌는 데는 해서 너무 한지 재밌는 데 어디 도도들
그래서 대탄이 주식이
재밌는 데 해서 저 그거 때문에 말이 가서 하는 지지 재밌는 데 와서
직군주 대만 인베 경쟁 대박. So next, so next is going to talk about the reflections of a face is not a conventional truth in relation to the worldly person trained in language, or versed in terminologies, and however, in general, they are it is conventional truth. I repeat, next is going to talk about the reflections of a face is not a conventional truth in relation to a worldly person trained in language. However, in general, it is a conventional truth. So what does it mean that the reflections of a face is not a conventional truth in relation to a person, worldly person who is trained in language? Means that it is not true. It is not true in relation to a worldly person. So reflections of a face is not a true face. Ordinary or worldly person can understand that. So that is what it means by reflections of a face is not a conventional truth in relation to a worldly person trained in language. So it's not a conventional truth to a worldly person means that it is not a true to not a truth for worldly person because they know that reflections of a face is not a true face. In general, it is a conventional truth, means that uh, it is an object found by a valid cognition analyzing the conventional. So because of this, since it is an object found by a valid cognition analyzing the conventional, therefore it is a conventional truth. So as it says in the order entering the middle way auto commentary, so whatever is false, even conventionally is not a conventional truth. And to the worldly conventional consciousness of someone conversant in words, in other words, is a trained in language, then it is not true that the reflection of the face, for example, is a face. Hence, it's not conventionally true from that perspective. While this is so, it's still the object found by a consciousness seeing a false object of knowledge, a deceptive object. So this object found by a consciousness seeing a false object of knowledge, a deceptive object, in other words, is an object found by a valid cognition analyzing the conventionalities. So therefore, it is a conventional truth.
Hadi olma tanju yula la da tanju tuji shi da tanju tuji ma no de chi ya da da be sa wa ka wala su ba wala shi ba tanju yula tanju tuji se an ga tanju tuji le ma le chi shi no wa wa tanju tuji se wa da de ma ne chi ne wa ya da de ma le sha anda tanju tuji shi le ma le shi ba tu le bi shi ba tu se ke shi le wa wa tanju tuji le ma le sa wa tanju tuji ma ne chi shi ne wa tanju tuji ma ne chi ne
So So before we talk about the Prasangika system, which sees six consciousnesses unaffected by temporary causes of deceptions. So temporary causes of deception, in other words, is temporary causes of mistake or error. So before I talk about this, then I would like to introduce what is temporary causes of mistake.
다들 저기 주기세와 레세와들라 와서 아무들라도 이제 나라에 받아 실라에 받 니시오와 이제 나라에 받 실라에 받니 와 나라에 실라에 받니 저기 주기들라 맞아 엄마 수지 발라 내가 들고 와 저기 이제 엄마 수지 발라 와 수지를 내가 이원 내가 니시오와 저기 주기세와들 저기 주기들라 수지를 내가 이원 내가 니시오와 니도와 다 이원을 엄마 수지 발라 내가 들라 주기 나라에 받아 실라에 받 니 다 담보들이 와 저기 주기세와들 저기 주기라 엄마 수지를 내가 지다 이원을 내가 니네 되스 아니 레오디 그거는 이원 엄마 수지 발라 내가 들라 딱 주기 나라에 받아 실라에 받 니네 되스 담보들만 주시
So when we talk about the temporary cause of mistake, then the temporary cause of mistake can be divided into two types. So one that which damage the physical sense power, and the second one is that which damage the mental sense power. And the first one that which damage the physical sense power is again divided into two: the cause of mistake existing internally and the cause of mistake existing externally.
주지 나라에 봐서 가지고 들에 엄마 수지 발라 다 저리다 미세다 다들아 세바다부터 주기 나라에 아마 대소 와
So the cause of mistake existing internally, for example, cataract. So cataract sometimes is translated as cataract, eye floaters, faulty visions. So and the second one is jaundice, and the third one is eating datura plant.
다 주지 나라에 봐 대소 지와 Shila yo patela kandarwa, tijiyo nongla yo, nipa shi melung da, kudung ge zha, sugi tiji nimi yo zi chema chawo da cheba, mi chingi ji, ya mi da nga la sabar si lo warwa, o di tiji shila yo wasi, di res kuda.
Cause of mistake existing externally, for example, mirror, sound in an empty cave, sunlight hitting white sand in the summer, and the medicine and mantra applied by magicians and so forth.
我当时说我是提阶段的，我是那的超级直接的，蛮类似毛不些个多，我说工作点吧，这个看到超级直接来不的嘛，来不的这些新闻多，我的那这些什么阶段的，哇，那这些是不是来的？那是这些的接触反正是接了过来是的，是不是来的？我们这些接了过的话，我们是这些接了过的，我是说，那热力是我第一呢，我是这些热力是我的，大家这几年多少个？ non c'è bisogno di due.
Take to you in the lay wine at the two secure.
Ci quindi ci vorrà da tutto, c'è ci sono ci si di questo lo guarda. Si c'è giù di questo lo guarda. Allora, realizzo da shin zaba na wa shi ji shi. Wa shi di ma so, da ma du su ni da da shi ma zaba de na wa de si ju shi de na da realizzo. Realizzo ju shi de ci wa shi de da ci je wo da shin zaba na ci lo guarda.
Mi na sa.
Oh, mi na sa ci. Allora, riso da mi na 不都几个下是吧？那啥去？一个网在现在往那一地，往去这样一件就会啥的是就是吧？
So when we talk about conventional truth, then it often talks about whether it is affected by a temporary cause of mistake or not affected by a temporary cause of mistake. So this cause of mistake is the cause that gives rise to mistaken consciousness. So that is what it means by cause of mistake. So it is a cause that gives rise to the mistaken consciousness. So if it is affected by a temporary cause of mistake, then it will give rise to mistaken consciousness. For example, cataract, as I mentioned just now. So it can be translated as cataract, eye floaters, or faulty vision. So then shall I explain this cataract or eye floaters or faulty visions as something is an eye disease? Then it creates a lump on the eyeball. So and then because of this, then because of this, then eye sees floating hairs or hair fallings. So this cataract or eye floaters is a cause of mistake for a sense consciousness to which falling hairs appears.
然后这个就是类似我是往去推进的这些，没些时候，但没些掉的我是看到他这个原因那个，这个原因那个那个这些原因的话，这个大家都懂啊，不搞不了啊，这个不搞不了啊，这些不能往去推的这钱也是吧，那是超级直接的是吧，超级直接，我东西不能往去推这些也是。
And the second one is jaundice. So jaundice is the cause of mistake for sense consciousness to which a white conch shell appear as yellow. So this jaundice can be due to gallbladder or due to the liver problems. Then it becomes a cause of mistake for sense consciousness to which a white conch shell. The conch shell is white in color, right? But to the sense consciousness is affected by this cause of mistake. Then the white conch shell appear as yellow.
你说白的，大致了是的，是的那往前就就是什么的，那大致了是的我是这样的，你经啥的话，没打面了嘛，反正对吧？我这个你的，那第一个是我中央往前对他讲的，往前设计出吧，是的那你就是也是这个这个也是，对吧？那就是这样子的，基本是这样，是吧？
And then eating datura plant is the cause of mistake for sense consciousness to which ground appears in golden color. So then it could be a medicinal plant or it could be a poisonous plant. So however, eating datura plant, then it becomes a cause of mistake to a sense consciousness to which ground appears in golden color.
然后美容的血型这边对的什么？美容的血型这边得了嘛？这个血咱们现在有点美容的血型的，不能嘛？是那真是弄完就行了。那这个我的主要的，但是我是年轻，我年轻人我觉得我的，那就是说，看美容单的话，对我的，我那东北人嘞，说起码都，但是你那说话是往上来都不多的，大家也不觉得嘛，有些个也是吧。
And then mirror. So mirror is also a cause of mistake when the mirror and the face comes together. So a mirror and a face are cause of mistake to a sense consciousness to which a reflection of a face appears as a face. So this is something that we can check for ourselves when we see ourselves in the mirror. Then if we do not analyze or if we do not check properly, then it appears as the true face, right? So however, if we check properly, then we will realize that it is just a reflection. It's not a true face.
我的，我的第二道，他搞不懂个这是大家继续是这样的东西，我都没弄了看到头的这样的，被现在去你老的就了说的了，是吧？结果被这里去，不要紧，给当时的那你看的啊，都是什么吧？都被这样的，我这里呢往前就学过的也是，那他从嘛的就学的，哦，也这东西，你这里是就身体有了是东西，是吧？就是这是的我。
And the sound in an empty cave is a cause of mistake for a sense consciousness to which the echo appears as an expressive sound. So we learn about the expressive sound in the Loric awareness and knowers subject. So then the sound in an empty cave is the cause of mistake for sense consciousness to which the echo appears as an expressive sound, means that the echo, as if someone is saying like you make a sound in an empty cave, then as if someone on the other side then replying you or saying the same thing to you.
我的说，他们是这个的是因为现在什么叫我们教的，有的教的，但你问的，他们觉得去哪往前去就结果的话，那等我是讲的，我带的我那这个不是因为是所有的通路是吧？现在的尤其是去哪些的讲的我你们不晓得的话，那等我那个是话，我去这个意思。
And the sun hitting the white sand in the summer is the cause of mistake to a sense consciousness to which a mirage appears as water. So this is also something that we can see that the mirage appears like the water.
那流行的，他没这个叫面谈话，他是叫演员是吧？他就是人家不的就嘛就是个主要的流行的，当然那往前的这些，我是没来把所谓的那个要嘛的，我自己没买来把这，他没了就这个能够的话，是往前去嘛是吧？但是我那没他不的是吧
？And the medicine and mantra applied by a magician, then this is quite normal and then do not require much explanations that pebbles and sticks appears as a real horse and elephant, then this is also a cause of mistake for sense consciousness.
这是什么？看到网络把学把那把说的话，往前就写的，那你个来家才说，就是等于有的些已经是已经好把子了，那有的是了，你老把是给你写过了，你老把已经给了，点有的些给你已经你老把是给你写过，是吧？那就是我的已经老把是呢，特别会的话，已经老把是你今天往前上班，但已经老把差不多的话，已经老把是吧？那得有老把的话，现在有的些我只有老把的话，我知道的别过去是吧？我看到有的老板呢，有老板是吧？是的，那个讲的东西是吧？当然，看到第二个对吧？罗比有些都是跟写的对吧？罗比有些是，那都是假的是吧
？So in the Lam Rim text, it says six consciousnesses unaffected by temporary cause of deceptions, and the six consciousness they are affected by it, and etc. So this is related to the example that I mentioned just now. So those examples are the cause of mistakes that affect the physical sense power. So those objects are the unreal object, and then those object possessor or subject are the unreal subject. So those object possessor that takes those object that takes those object, and those subject are the unreal subject. So basically, subject and object, and then the object is unreal. Those examples, the objects are unreal, and the object possessor or the consciousnesses that apprehends those unreal subjects are real. Unreal object are unreal subjects.
那这是什么？我说忘记了，对这些东西是吧？是吧？你把我这以往的电视话来看到，那是正常人把它你觉得在对车这个是吧？你来我来讲比赛是吧？
你电视当然得说嘛。
也是当然
那是
那第是国考的话，
那是
我主看年把是那他主看年把我们那地方对吧？听见你这把是，我那你那说不了解是吧？
那是
那你得看他啊，你那浪不起，这个一兴趣就学不了是吧？你得啊，你的话，你的你那都浪不起了是吧？这里这个学吧就学不了是吧？那就是采取出去的，采取是吧？采取出去给这学会是吧？那以往的那个采取出去的，而且工资往线的那个采取出去是吧？我把它推出，那他以往的采取出去是。
So what was just mentioned was the temporary cause of mistake that damage the physical sense power, and for the following are the cause of mistake that damage the mental sense power. So, for example, bad tenet or inferior tenet, and sleep. So, sleep is a temporary cause of mistake that damage the mental sense power because it is a cause for it is a cause of mistake for a mental consciousness to apprehend the appearances of horse and elephant in the dream as the horse and elephant. So therefore, sleep is also a cause of mistake that damage the mental sense power.
那地方是比较难弄了，我们就把鸡蛋多，我们就把那个当然工资嘛多少多学生的，我们就把鸡多，那把那个我做那事情多，那地方是以前老板的，那把的一样的，有老板是在那地方一样的，
就把雷电弄完没别
哦，那个很多啥的，帮了蛮多啥，那地方那嘛写我的，啊的，你把那个往不读去，送啊看一把的，也把它弟弟他明白也是，也把弟弟，他两个工作是在那的，
就我哪里
我的，那个但是他在那什么学的，是吧？你把美国我的，你把美国我的我是面对了我的，是书通啊，就是吧？没去孙子吧的，没去孙子吧的，没去孙子没去的他，他书的呢，咱这把是养大工的差不多，你希望是养大的嘛的，我把强有嘛的，是吧？你得希望是养大的，是吧？我的给你点的话，跟我们做已经我们做的，那孙子这样子有的话，就是什么？那把美国也是那把没有没晓得嘛？第一个是那把有没晓得，采取自己那把有没这个是晓得是吧？采取自己没嘛的，是吧？采取自己没嘛的，对了那把有没这个晓得是吧？我的效果的，啊对，那把美国我们做的所有的，先把它的先把它嘛都老把嘛的是了，是吧？先把老把嘛，老把说的蛤蟆呢是经过的，我们这种是蛤蟆呢是吧？对的，对了说的这是，那所以了说吧，对我们属于我们那边有继续啊，那这怎么蛤蟆他妈的，天天希望的老板也是，我也是，那多点的，那点点的这么多是吧？
Entering the middle way says, whatever the worldly apprehend and perceive by means of the six non-defective senses. So non-defective senses refer to those senses that are not affected by temporary cause of mistake. That's why it's called non-defective, this context. And so, for example, the eye consciousness apprehending a form, then these two are real in relation to a worldly are real for a worldly consciousness. And those reflections of a face and etc., mirage and etc., then those are unreal in relation to a worldly consciousness. So it is included, the mirage and mirage and so forth, they are included in this word rest. So the rest is perceived as false from that perspective. So such as the reflections, mirage, and etc.
我的是，那地方多少的我说哇，那是我把一个事情我把这个，采取自己里面经常多少的，心里我们我还是在等待的是吧？采取，那刚才我是国内的，采取自己说的，等待，那个有没有挺多的，那个有没有说采取自己来嘛，类似的，等待看看的是吧？我们看到了，你把它对的，让他工作的老板工作吃饭几个人也是，他等待对的，等待等待，写的是吧？写等待对的，哦，我们那把我们了那把没把钱，那把没把钱多啊，那把没把东西点把的，他点把的话，点把，那那把就把采取出去那把多啊，采取出去那把有已经知道，那你得希望对老板也是了，那你得希望对老板，是吧？我的你吃饭点的，对的，那点了，我就往吃嘛，当然都成成多少是吧？ 음. 嗯，我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了， 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了, 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了, 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了, 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了, 뭐, 我的，你吃饭点的，对的，对的，那点了, 뭐,
So basically, what is so so non-defective refers to those senses that are not affected by the temporary cause of mistake, and defective senses then refers to those senses that are affected by temporary cause of mistake. So those that are not affected by temporary cause of mistake is true. Sorry, it is real in relation to worldly to the world or to the worldly consciousness. And those that are affected by temporary cause of mistake, then they are unreal in relation to worldly consciousness or relation to the world, worldly person, worldly consciousness, or worldly person.
Tati wol ma ngaba jile wudwa, ngaba. Tati tize salo patana ya nasa koda chumudwa. Tati dire, kaji ngi tuji lebe, zinaji dodo jese. Asa chaji tuji lebe, tuji wange, ta chuji danzi da kanza dati tuba kenya danzi zimba jorwa, soso tuji wange. Ta tuta ki kenya wange rwa, tuji kenya wange, chuji danzi da kanza danzi yorwa. Ta chuji dati tuba kanza demba tuba zingi, 니왕 되는지 내기 싫어와. 오, 나한테 니 주디왕은 집에 가서 대버트가 된지지. 시에 매바데, 시에 매바데. 난 지디 발라티데. 또 너바 리베스나. 난 지디 발라티데 너바 많이서 오다데. 좋아. 이게 도쇼도 너보다 되게 도쇼. 좋아. 이 도쇼 매바스. 이 도쇼 매바데. 가지 지지 내빈지 단지 도쇼데 타니미 지미. 이거 뭐니 비스라고 그러와. 뭐 타니미 지마. 이 도쇼들이 사람이 뭐 와게 방사 덴버트가 그냥 이제 막 뜻하는 이거를 지금 덴버트가 그냥 이제 무슨 샤워 이거 지금 덴버트가 이제 방사 덴버트가 이제 된지 쇼로와 되게 시험에 봐 모셔도 데려와 이 시험에 봐 나 이제 벌어지게 아 로바네 그래서 안지
이 시험에 봐대
이 시험에 봐대
인지된 발라도대
로바네 근데 시험에 봐서 다들 가서 데버트가 그냥 집에 이 봐 가서 데버트가 집에 된대 가서 데버트가 된지데 이거밖에 유지 로바네 그래서 아들 이거밖에 이제 로바네 이제 로바 말해서다 이거밖에 유지 로바 말해 다르지는 말해서나 지게 발라티데 이게 로바 또 동요 말해서 이게 발들와 이제 로바는 가서 데버트가 된지데 시험에 봐도 그러와 이 시험에 봐도 이 또고 말해서 이 된지로 와서 denji suda kaza demba ki wa kaza demba tu wanji denji ko denji suda jite hingwal tide loba chaguyo 이제 loba chaguyo ma yes 이제 loba 가지나 말해서 된 jite ba toni ma to jite ba 되게 이 시행이 또 동요 yes denji 되게 시행 또 가서 denji 시 시행이 또 돌도 와 어제 말해서 된다 돼 지금 두고 뭐 두서 세지 된다 돼 자기 자기 뒤에 지단지 도서대 아니 지금 이게 뭐니 봐 서도
시험에 봐대 또 와나 대 동이 또 요
돈도로라 돈도로 인지로와 인지 시험부터 전 돈도로와
시험에 또 와나
딱 자기 주겠네서 가리 가리 이제 가지게 갖고 대단히 봐 오지 들어와 비니 봐 나도 이원 내가 나도 이원 내가 들어와 자기 주겠네 바래 가르친 자기 주기가 이게 비니 봐 원하는 거 되겠어 자기 주지들아 공부를 내가 이원 내가 니네 봐
So just now we talk about the cause of a temporary cause of mistake and that which damage the mental sense power. Then one of the example is bad tenets, right? Then this links to this link to this link to here regarding the two types, innate and intellectually acquired of apprehensions of person. So it links to this paragraph. So this paragraph talks about the assumption that a conventional valid cognition is not able to perceive the opposite of the modes of apprehension by a mind affected by the temporary cause of mistake, which is a bad tenets. So So regarding the two types, innate and intellectually acquired of apprehensions of persons and phenomena established by way of their intrinsic characteristics, conventional valid cognition does not establish the opposite of the
intellectually acquired modes of apprehension that arises, for example, from the mind being temporarily polluted by one's own bad tenets. This is an exception. So, yeah, so those worldly persons, they are self-grasping of person and self-graspings of phenomena, and they have this self-grasping due to the bad tenets, Then for them, the self-grasping or the true grasping, true grasping or self-grasping, is it unreal in relation to worldly person or not? So the question is self-grasping or true grasping unreal in relation to worldly person or not? And so this self-grasping or true grasping to the worldly person, is it a unreal subject or not? And the answer is not an unreal subject, because this worldly person who has not realized emptiness cannot realize the non-existence of determining object of that apprehensions of true existence or true grasping. So because of this, then they will to a worldly person or for a worldly person, this true grasping or self-graspings are not unreal subject. I repeat. So when we talk about the self-grasping of those worldly persons, those persons who are affected by bad tenets, and then they have this self-grasping or true grasping, then is this true grasping or self-grasping unreal? Is an unreal subject for those worldly person or not? And then the answer is no, it is not a unreal subject for worldly person. Why? Because those worldly person who do not realize emptiness do not or are unable to realize the non-existence of the determining object. So because of this, for them, for the worldly person, these true grasping or self-graspings are not an unreal subject. So if one realizes the non-existence of the determining object of true grasping or self-grasping, then one necessarily realizes emptiness.
What content the taji tuji le pare de ina shingwo de ta lo ba ma re es na do do shi wa o taji tuji le pare yes ji tuji kan bi le na en kan ni bi da ne bi on kanda de za de ba tu ban zi wa su da de taji tuji le pare da ne mo de ji de yes da ne mo da de kanda taji tuji le pare de ina bi shingwo de lo ba re es de ma re es dan ji de shingwo de lo ba yin na 예, 대신 봐서 또 와. 이 시험이 나와나 심마도 또 와. Yes, and that was
So this example is affected by temporary cause of mistake, because this example, these persons are affected by the bad tenets. And however, for the worldly persons, is it unreal? Then the answer is no, it is not an unreal for worldly person, because they are unable to realize the non-existence of they are unable to realize the non-existence of the determining object of those apprehension, the apprehensions of true existence.
나한테 얼마 두번인데 니나 진짜 투시즌 좀 먹고 봐지도 와 니나 진짜 투시즌 좀 먹고 봐지도 와 어디 가르치냐 나도 다들이 말이 빠차지 말이 받아 빠차 정말 용서 그게 단지 신발이다 그다 단지 신발도 와
말이 빠차
말이 빠차 용서 그거 뻔히 산에 그 단지 신발지 그때 이제 그거 지금 지금 정말 너무 그래 그냥 주식게 말했어 지금은 그래
유진데 니낭데 남기요.
얘도 유진이 다리 넘고 와. 넘고 와. 정말 넘고 이제 니 나와요 나고 이시게 말했어. 와. 지게 말해. 너희는 투어 말이 니 나와야 되나. 너희는 투어 말했어. 너희는 투어 말했어. 너희는 투어는 치고 와. 니 나한테 너희는 투어 말했어. 너희는 투어 말해. 치게 말했어. 네. 반드시 말해야지. 우리가 치게 말했지.
단지 말이야나?
단지 신발은 주신 많이 들어와. 이게 좀 너희는 좋지 봐.
So next is this moreover, although dualistic appearances. So this paragraph talks about that although a consciousness has dualistic appearance, it is not necessarily a mistaken consciousness. So although a consciousness has dualistic appearance, it is not necessarily for it to become a mistaken consciousness. So here it says, moreover, although dualistic appearances occur for the disordered wisdom knowing things in their variety free from all causes of pollutions by predispositions of ignorance, it is not mistaken with regard to its appearing object. The reason is explained elsewhere. So, for example, an omniscience or exalted wisdom knowing things in their variety. So omniscience is uh, omniscience is as a omniscience is free from the predisposition, free from all predispositions of ignorance. So even though object and subject appears as dualistic, however, doesn't make that omniscience a mistaken consciousness. So even though there is a dualistic appearance to an omniscience, however, it doesn't make that omniscience a mistaken consciousness. Why? Because omniscience is not mistaken with its appearing object. So what makes a consciousness a mistaken consciousness is mistaken with its appearing object, right? So since omniscience is not mistaken with its appearing object, therefore an omniscience is not a mistaken consciousness.
바로 덴바는 근거 덴바도 실사다. 근거 덴바 실사 따고 덴다 덴바 마시야 있어. 그 덴바는 근거 덴바 실사했어.
So we have already covered the conventional truths. Next, I'm going to talk about the ultimate truth.
아 덴다 덴바도 마시고도 덴다 덴바도 가도 덴바 시시다. 덴다 덴바라 안다 덴바 시고 원마다 치세리 뭐 치세리 그런데 우와 하지만 내가 틱대가도 막 시고도 또 원마 와 대한 된다 덴바서 대한이나 담바야니까 된다 대신에 보내 지금 와 이미 덴바 있네 된다 덴바서 안다디 된다 담바니까 된다 덴바 니라 해도 오세 어때 시설 된다 덴바 시고도 와 어디 가도 돼 너무 부지로 와 얼마 딱 비고 시주고 와뭐 된다 덴바서 와도 가서 대한이나 담바야니까 된다 담바 덴바 있는 된다 덴바서 that's 담바对，弄对吧？但对我们讲，这什么呀？这人些出的吧？
感谢我们。
感谢的话，等于感谢的嘛，第四个出的吧？是行吧？蛮行，现在。
So next is ultimate truths and explaining the meaning of ultimate and truth. So here's talking about the meaning of the word ultimate and truth. So it talks about the etymological explanation. So Clearword says, since it is an object and it is ultimate, it is the ultimate object. Since it is not deceptive or truth, since it is not deceptive or true, and it is the truth. So it talks about the etymology of the word ultimate truth.
当我是德系的定门的，他讲到不必群里的把背下来是吧？不必群里的背下是吧？不必群里的去了等的等把西基比军政有点是吧？我的吧，我不必讲，不必群里的去了等的等把西基比军政有点，等下你，安排下你，等把你比这基比些是吧？等下你，安排下你，等把你比这基比些是，我们现在来吧。
哦，乌梅鸡蛋，乌梅鸡蛋可以了。
这那种来你们定吧。
对，的确了，可以的。
对的，而且得去嘛，最大的学这个对。
就太难了。
可是等出来等到这些的越来越。他们有的可是。
那这容难的，这容难快。
你看了，明白？
这容易。
确实。
And for example, so then 被导过来了。So to explain the etymology of the word ultimate truth, then the subject, the reality of the thought is there is a reason for it to be called as an ultimate truth, because it is an object and it is an ultimate and it is true. Therefore, it is called such. So I repeat, to explain the etymology of the word ultimate, then the explanation is the subject, the reality of a pot is the reality of a pot. There is a reason to call it an ultimate truth because it is an object, it is an ultimate, it is ultimate and it is true. Therefore, it is called such. Yeah. So we say the subject, the reality of a pot. There is a reason to call it an ultimate truth because it is an object, it is ultimate, and it is true, right? So therefore, it's called such. So it is an object. Yeah. So it is an object because it is an object found by an Arya's disordered wisdom of meditative equipoise. And it is ultimate because it is the ultimate mode of abiding. And it is true because it is not deceptive in terms of its modes of apprehension. So its modes of appearing and modes of abiding are concordant. I repeat. So the reality of a pot is an object because it is an object found by an Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, and it is ultimate because it is the ultimate mode of abiding. It is true because it is non-deceptive in terms of its modes of hearing and modes of abiding are concordant. Yeah, so the meaning of the word truth, of the word ultimate and ultimate truth and conventional truth are not the same. I repeat, the meaning of the word truth of conventional truth and ultimate truth are not the same. So here it says, that being so, the meaning of the word truth in conventional truth, which is a truth from the perspective of the apprehensions of true existence. So the truth of the word conventional truth is called truth because it is true for a true grasping of apprehensions of true existence, ignorant apprehensions of true existence. Therefore, the word truth in the word conventional truth is called so because it's true for the ignorant apprehensions of true existence.
我那是明白，哇，对不对？那刚才啊，不对不起。
Yep. Yeah, so we the kunzu tempa ro adi.
不是这么说，
Yeah, kunzu tempa de nang tene mitu ba ya.
没错，
So conventional truth also means that its modes of modes of appearance and modes of abidings are not concordant. So conventional truth is its modes of appearance and modes of abidings are not concordant. For example, a pot. So a pot is true for an apprehension of true existence, however, is not true in reality. So a pot appears as a true existence for an apprehension of true existence, however, is not true reality. Therefore, its modes of appearance and modes of abiding are not concordant.
啊，等到你把说的我对说的，看到那是的你是听不好啊，也是，等到你把的，那是的你是听不懂啊，是不是？也是对，等到也是哇，那你把是那是的你是听不懂啊，那是你是听不懂啊，是不是？等到你把是，你也是，七八家说啊，那个你把也说那是你是不听吧？
那是你是听吧咯？
哦，等到你把那是你是听吧，不懂是吧？那是你是听不懂是吧？等到你。那对吧的，那是你是没对吧的，那我记了话，你自己的话做的话，我给你知道的是过，原来对吧了，那是你是听的多的意思，那对吧的，那是你是没对的，是吧？有啊。
Yeah. And the word and the meaning that the text says, and the meaning of the word truth in ultimate truth are not the same. So the meaning of the word truth in ultimate truth is non-deceptive, in the sense that its modes of appearance and modes of abiding are concordant. So we are talking about the word truth of the conventional truth and the word truth of the word ultimate truth. So the word, even though they use the same word truth, however, the word truth for conventional truth and ultimate truth are different. So the word truth for ultimate truth is non-deceptive in the sense that modes of appearance and modes of abiding are concordant. But even the word truth are used for the word conventional truth. However, the word truth not it is used. The truth word is used because it is true for an apprehension of true existence. Therefore, the word truth is used. Otherwise, conventional truth is its modes of appearance and modes of abiding are not concordant. Conventional truth is deceptive in the sense that modes of appearance and modes of abiding are not concordant. So you can see the difference between the word truth in conventional truth and the word truth in ultimate truth.
啊，我这个对吧？请你在这你吧，请你嘛辛苦多啊，我说你吧，请你多啊，请你这个就还是继续吧的，有啊，我知道了，继续在吧，他都去请你的康啊些，他都去什么的，就是他都去什么送的，是吧？这请你多啊，对，好了，请你多啊。
So the definitions of an ultimate truth, then the definitions of an ultimate truth is what we learn in the tenet. So I will show you. Yeah. So this is tenets text that we used before. So the definitions of ultimate truth, according to Prasangika Madhamika, then is an object found by a valid cognizer or reasoning consciousness, distinguishing an ultimate or analyzing an ultimate, and with respect to which valid cognizer or reasoning consciousness distinguishing and a valid cognizer distinguishing an ultimate becomes a valid cognizer distinguishing an ultimate. So I just straight away say the definition of an ultimate in our tenet text: an object found by a valid cognizer distinguishing an ultimate, and with respect to which a valid cognizer distinguishing an ultimate becomes a valid cognizer distinguishing an ultimate.
对吧？对我这可都蛮难的，都都了的，等到请你们修的，这到啊，这到完去联系今年的，这到完去联系去年的市场，这等到挺多是的，没他们这他妈这么多，这到啊，联系去切吧，这到啊，可以买去，这到完去联系去，他妈这中国条了不行的，这到完去联系去年的市场，我看到。 tanda tenpa tanda chittawa chibi hiji nende, suwa, dodo tere, tadila honi, yuwa randegi tanda ma, yawadwa, yel machirwa, yuwa randegi tanda tere esko, chittawa chibi hiji nende, sunda tanda tenpa se.
Tenpa tenpa.
Oh,
Tenda tenpa.
Tenpa esko. Maybe tensa na kanda, tanda tere wa, tawa chibi hiji nende, tensa wa, tanda tenpa, tanda tenpa, tanda tenpa wa. 지금 담아 보니까 그때 사진 대화로 와 사진 좀 맞지 도로 와 이거 뭐나 참아 이거 뭐라고 와 20년 와 이거 제가 됐다와 진이 희리 네바지 된다 된다 그래서 너 거기다 도도 될
Tenda tenpa tenda.
tenda tenpa 저 생인다 그래요 그다음 마시는 거 바로 내리 주바로 지금은 되어지고 시작하는 거지.
So to explain the quotations from the commentary, entering the middle way auto commentary, so the Rinpoche explained that the words a particular wisdom mean that what is found by any wisdom of ours is not sufficient, and that instead ultimate truth is only what is found by a particular wisdom, the wisdom that knows the ultimate modes of being. So ultimate truth is only what is found by a particular wisdom, the wisdom that knows the ultimate modes of being. So this is, and then found means that it is established as such by that consciousness, and the same for the conventionalities.
재미가 많다. 정말 누가 많다. 이게 누가
Yeah. So the meaning of the ultimate truth is, so an ultimate truth is only what is found by a particular wisdom, which is the wisdom that knows the ultimate modes of being. And the word found, what does it mean? It means that it is established. It is established by a particular wisdom, it is found or established by a particular wisdom. So we say that an object found by a valid cognition is an object found by a reasoning consciousness, right? So the word found means that it is established by something, by the valid cognitions or the reasoning consciousness.
아니 봐, 제타와치 파빈냐자 스미지단 얘가 시오나 서로와 제타와지 지 파빈냐샤 스미지지 근데 많이스 시고와 빈냐샤 스미지지 때문에 니스 간을 예사도 마시고와 네 서진이 봐도와 스타가디나 니바 제타와치 파빈냐샤 스미지지 니 제타니 서서딘도와 어디 마시 아니 스미지지 들어와
So yet how does it find it? So this paragraph is going to talk about how it is found by an how it is found by an sorted uncontaminated so how it is found by an uncontaminated exalted wisdom in the meditative equipoise of an Aryas that knows the modes, knows the modes. So here, the modes that knows the ultimate modes of being. So how it is found by uncontaminated, exalted wisdom of a meditative equipoise by an Aryas knowing the ultimate modes of being.
파빈냐샤 간다 된다 된바데 이에스게데 시고로와 된다 된바도와 이스데 안냐샤 이시디게 간다 라리티지 미기 바나기 기라 딱 잡아 보는 것이 동네에서와 아니 라리지 쥐들와 이시더라 라리티지 미기 바나 기들아마 바나 시들아마 다시 잡아 보레스 다시 잡아 도와 라리 메비 미기와 라리 쳔메 라리 메비 미기 때기라 백신 잡아 너도 말했어 백신 잡아 너무 말했어 단단데 너샤 생각이 스타트 라리 미국 비전 지워 우리 매바다 라리 진짜 백신 잡아 나는 그게 뭐라 그게 뭐라 라리 미국 미국 또한 아시 한번 나자 이제 지워다 비나자사 이제 그 가르치면서 라리 매바 나시와 라리 매바 나시 와 백신 잡아 나와서야 도지 라리 매바 나시 와 라리 매바데 슬피잖아 비나자 이제 그거나 동반 내가 시우디 번에 되더라는데 저리 미나시 미나 처모 야 마스가 주지 어디 당당바 스트레스 미나 처모자야 요 말에서 다 간다 와 아비냐샤 사메게 동반에 시우디 미나 처모자야 매봐 간다 무슨 두세 시우디레스 와 미나 처모자지 요 말에서 라리나시 내대보다 쥐쥐 요 말에서 쥐쥐 요 말에서 아비냐샤시 동반에 시우디 미나 처모자야 매봐 그东半 때는 세모 때 그래 취샤가 나시라고 다 간다 양샤시 동반이다 취를 취샤가 나시라고 하다 그러와 어디 이나시 시로 해서
So how does it find it? While the eyes of someone with an eye disorder see floating hairs in the space before them, healthy eyes do not see even an appearance of floating hairs in that space. So likewise, those who are damaged by the eye disorder of ignorance observe an intrinsic natures of aggregates and the like, uncontaminated exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise of those who have exalted all the imprints of ignorance and of ayahs on the path of learning, when perceiving suchness does not perceive even subtle dualistic appearance, like eyes without a disorder. The nature perceived through this type of perception is an ultimate truth. So, for the perceptions of an Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, then is likened to the eyes, the healthy eyes, that is without the problems of cataract or eye floaters. And for them, then when these Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise perceive the meaning of emptiness, they perceive the meaning of emptiness directly without even the subtle dualistic appearance. So they can, without the subtle dualistic appearance, they perceive that the emptiness directly. So the Aya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise and emptiness are like putting water into water. So this is how they perceive the ultimate truth.
다들 오늘 그저 저번에 신제대로 내가 기본하래 가는데 신제 타네 니 사바다 니 마다바라 리치데 니 마다바 라리 이제 지구군의 동원이 니들 최신의 수다
순바디
오 숨바 시시로 와 그런데 뭐 내가 시시를 뭐도 내가 기본하래 와 뭐 지게 안다 니 다바 오면 봐 니 나니 간다 니 파바나샤 시드 니 다바 나치 예스로 와 니 다바서 니 주면 좀 수를 좀 관리 더 봐이나 정말 기능이 더 그래서 와 주면 좀 니요 주면就是와 파비나샤를 간다 니 다바 주면 좀 배한 시고 내가 된 거와 나 된다 된 말때 니는 그 에네 샤거나 뭔가 대도돼 우리들 동반이대로 와 간다 우리들 동반이 또 우리 딱 간다 니는 누구 지키거든 우리들 동반이가 지키는 양바 샤오데 동반이들 때 니는 누구 거네 또도 레마도 니나스는 최요 말했어. 와, 니나스 자원이 요 말했어. 미다바나 시에스. 아주 된다 간도 희지는 거네. 이게 뭐라고 그래.
보메텐 두동만이
보미테도 동반을 찌기도 넘어 샤는게 박냐서 이거로 와. 어떻게 간다. 니는 누구 치지? 그런데 간다. 우리도 또 그래마도 니나 최요 말했어. 니나 자원이 요 말했어.
니는 눈에 또 보여로.
오, 니나 눈도 또 니나 눈도 또 동반이나 치가 치자고 또 그래서 와. 또는 니나 참 요 말했어. 니나 요 말했어. 라리지 미치는 저 쓰는 니나 이거로 와. 쓰는 니나 이거로 와. 나들 라리지 미치 면접 배우고 지 면접 미다봐.
저는 순바디한 동겸 얘네들 숨겨.
이런 거 좀 찍고 나서 이거 가서.
제가 있지.
어때요? 좀 대하는 거.
Yeah, so then entering the middle way says, where false entities such as floating hairs are imputed because of an eye disorder, one with clear eyes sees things as they are. Suchness should be known here in like this in like manner. So the meaning-wise is the same as I was mentioned just now. So the exalted wisdom, highest exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, when they perceive the ultimate truth, then they are like the clear eyes, the see things, the clear eyes or the non-defective eyes. Then when an highest exalted wisdom, single pointedly, so when an highest exalted wisdom single pointedly focus on the emptiness on the basis of thought, then they realize the emptiness on the basis of the thought in a manner that the dualistic appearance are vanished. Or through the vanishings of the dualistic appearance, they realize the emptiness directly. So meaning that there is no involvement of dualistic appearance. And however, for those who have the ignorance or the ignorance of faulty visions or eye disorders, then their perceptions do have the dualistic appearance. Then this paragraph talks about indicating Nirvana as ultimate truth. Indicating Nirvana as ultimate truth. So according to a Prasangika system, Nirvana is an ultimate truth, and Nirvana is also an emptiness. So and then here it says the ultimate perceived in this manner is the ultimate nature of two natures that each and every subject has. More specifically, it is both the naturally pure Nirvana. So this is the first type of the first type of ultimate nature. Then the naturally pure Nirvana, or the first type of Nirvana. So the naturally pure Nirvana. And what is this naturally pure Nirvana? Then which is the emptiness of inherent establishments of subjects. And the second type of Nirvana is the Nirvana that is a true cessation. And then what is this? Then it is a reality free from all the various seeds of defilements. Hola, de la viore. So this paragraph talks about in the commentary on 60 stanzas of reasoning, there are words saying Nirvana is conventional truth. So even though there are words like thing like this, however, the meaning is not that the Nirvana is a conventional truth. So when this paragraph talks about what I mentioned just now, so basically when we talk about Four Noble Truths, the first three truths refer to the true suffering, true origination, and true path. They are conventional truths. The actual meaning is the first three are conventional truths. However, the last one, true cessation, is not conventional truth because it is an ultimate truth.
사지 주거든 최근에 타는 경우에 이거 봐 시시에서 진도와 어디 주거든요. 어디 간다 돼서 오래 얼마 돈 디지털 지지를 내고래 안다 돼서 삼아 그와 그 산지 돈 맞죠데 야이 산지 정된 대신 디지 타는 경우 최근 이 손배나 이게 타는 경우에 샤바다 와 이게 타는 경우에 샤바다지 그 마도 타는 경우에 샤바다 많이 봐 나왕 그거지. 따자원이 소용. 그래서 그 당연히 되게 다른 점이 샤바 상하나. 근데 그것은 단지 최단지 또비 파다 상지 마도 또비 파다가 많이 봐. 라는 그 비추지. 자원이 요. 그래서 그러면 근데들다.
디파인바.
최단지 또비 파다가 상지 또비 파다가 지쳐 마도. 와. 또비 파다가 많이 봐. 그런 거는 주를 치지. 자원이 요. 그래서
아니
다는 요. 그래서 좋아. 개인 지팅이 나와요 그때 이 단위적으로 잡아서 마도 들어와 진행이 소바 누구다 진행이 소바 상지 대리 취 진행이 소바 상지 이게 단위적으로 잡아서 소바래 마도 단위적으로 잡아서 많이 봐 라고 주변 메시지 써와리네요 근데 너도 되잖아 들어와 여기 취 간지 소바이나 단위적으로 미리 단위적으로 잡아서 마도 들어와 호비 따바자다 단위적으로 파 잡아서지 마도 다른 경우에 파 샤바다 많이 봐. 이 파다바다 많이 봐. 그럼 뭐니? 두 가지 한정은 너무 많이 있어. 너무 그래서 don't get it.
So then, therefore, everything proceeded as existent. So these paragraphs then talks about the sources. So the sources are those scriptural sources, for example. So the sources for the sources that says that all phenomena are proceeded by the power of conventions. So here it talks about the sources or scriptural sources. Then that all phenomena are proceeded by the power of conventions. So then here it says, therefore everything proceeded as existent is proceeded by the power of worldly conventions. And all these phenomena are labeled in reliance on worldly destinations. They are not ultimate. So the meaning of these lines is all phenomena are merely imputed by conceptual thoughts. All phenomena are merely imputed by conceptual thoughts, and all phenomena that is not merely imputed by conceptual thoughts that can establish from its own side does not exist conventionally. So this is the summary of all these. So he says that all phenomena are merely imputed by conceptual thoughts, and a phenomena that is established from its own side without being merely imputed by the conceptual thoughts does not exist even conventionally.
어때 얼마 사지 딩바리 경우도 딩바리 되면 된다들 어디 경우도 신도로 딩바리도 딩바다 간다 허비 신이 보게 양 담바디 된다 된바시 달리시 되고 간다 도도 된라 가르치오스나
딩바디 가르치
딩바데 리모 딩바다 제제지 딩바 수수 체고리 예스다 간다 와 리모 딩바다 제제지 딩바니 수 체고리 된다도 되나 딩바 두목이 된다도 되나 딩바 두고 해 같은 두목이 맞지 시오와 이게 리모 딩바다 제제지 딩바서 수수 체고리 예스 된다도 되나 딩바 두고 된다도 되나 양 담바 두스나 다 와, 양 담바 두스나 된다도 되스나 된다도 되나 덴바 두고 예스 덴바 두고 말이스 근데 거기 나샤시 생활을 대바다 다다가 이때 공부 쉬는 봐. 내가 대사 이제라 내가 두어요 마. 네스. 너 내가 두 말해서.
And then here, Master Gyanagaba states, and then here it talks about one needs to differentiate true for a reasoning consciousness and true that can withstand analysis. So one needs to differentiate between these two. True for reasoning consciousness and true that can withstand or bear analysis. So one needs to differentiate between these two because if it's true, ultimately, it doesn't mean that, so it is not necessarily for it to, so it is not truly established. So if it is true, ultimately, not necessarily it is established truly. Yeah. So the meaning is, if it is true, ultimately means that if it is true for Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise. Yeah. So if it's true, ultimately means that if it is true for an Arya's exalted wisdom of meditative equipoise, then it's not necessarily for it to come truly established.
다들 거기 신는 것도 되나 막 이런 거 지금 뭐 얼마 쉬운 거야. 그봐. 이 리시저 되나도 시비. 에 간다 된 담버 딘비 된다 된바스로 리시서와데 된다도 시비 대ngo라 무서워 nimba 소바레 에세 가다. 이런 거 지금 소나 디스고 와. 리시도 된다도 시비 리시 된다 된바 봐. 신이 대ngo라 무서워 순다 된바 소바레 에세 제세지 demba to shiva 제세 demba to gurwa 제세 demba 제세 wala duna da demba to gurwa 제세 demba to shiva manesu da ye ro ke nibi dan tamba maybe is debe danda demba re so de rishi jang danda da pa hine rishi de wa rishi de danda demba pa hine de wala rishi sa danda jaji to pa na gurwa danda to bilo de danda to bilo de tenda to lo rishilo de o di ngola bolowa gemba sumari ese tenda gemba sumari di ngola bolowa gemba sumari ma do jeje shiba mari jeje de bula shi jeje de duna jeje no de batugurwa jeje de batugurwa e gomba mari ese tenda shonde ki chhe thanje gemba to ka ba re ma do ka ba re ma gemba to ba tengu mari ese gemba to ba ka ba re ta je ji so do ati do do de ese no.
Yeah, so just now when I say these paragraphs, these lines talks about is one needs to differentiate between true for reasoning consciousness and true that can withstand analysis, right? So one needs to differentiate between these two. So true for a reasoning consciousness, the reasoning consciousness here refers to a mind realizing the ultimate, a mind realizing the ultimate. So here it says, Master Gyanagaba states, since it is a truth for an ultimate consciousness, it is an ultimate truth. Here he explains that a reasoning consciousness is ultimate as well. The meaning here is to explain that what is non-deceptive from the perspective of such a connection is truth. Connections here refer to the reasoning consciousness or the mind realizing the ultimate. However, it doesn't mean that such a condition is truly existent in terms of being able to withstand analysis, because in that text, it refutes the true establishments of all phenomena. So basically, we need to, as I mentioned just now, one needs to differentiate between two, true for reasoning consciousness and true that can withstand analysis. It is different. So true for and reasoning consciousness, and the reasoning consciousness here refers to mind realizing the ultimate, right? So since it is true, or since it is non-deceptive from the perspective of such cognitions or reasoning consciousness, therefore it is called truth. And it doesn't mean that true for a reasoning consciousness also means that also make it a true that can withstand analysis, because this text, Master Gyanagaba, refutes the true establishments of all phenomena. So one needs to differentiate between these two. when we say true for reasoning consciousness, a mind that realizes the ultimate, does not make it true that can withstand analysis.
我的结果这个团体里面就是多啊，结果团体里面就是零的，结果团体里面就是来看的，团体里有时候的，俺说，你说的这种东西，看的，也可能你一些的，中国不讲啊，也可能你我们一些的中国的，他你把的这什么刚刚出来的那个，俺说团体里有些了，
他的 subject 是个呢，那 subject 是个，
那结果对吧？那结果对吧？那结果俺说团体里有对他起过多少？团体里有时候的，俺的什么？很多家庭的什么一样的，我说，团体具体什么一样的，很多家庭的什么一样的，俺的什么个团体里个把它没办就不来是。
团体具体什么一样的，
团体具体什么一样的，很多具体什么一样的，团体里有说去管理的，你团体里要把亲密的嘛跳起来是，要不嘛，亲密的女说的干是呢，对呢，然后呢，团体里有说老是呢。亲密的那个人也是，
第二个蛮多吧，
蛮多吧就，
什么一个蛮多吧，
什么管理进来蛮多吧就也是，看看是吧？管理这个吧啦，也如果呢，管理的有的是呢，你什么个那个人也是，而是呢，你亲密管理那个是呢，你管理的要不啦，亲密的，你要把我说的，管理的要把亲密你也要嘛的是，
管理具体什么的，
我管理具体什么呢？什么管理呢？大家这个对，什么管理呢？管理的要把啦，亲密那个人如果了。西家人是呢，如果呢西家要把了，起码有六个人嘛的，因为亲密如果呢西家有多样嘛是吧？你亲密有六个是吧？我跟你谈的要把了，没办去，也是吧？没办去。
起码你差不多的六个人开始呢，你的前面那的你的
嘛是吧？前面那个嘛是吧？
你嘛
是，六个人是，谈的要把六个人是，谈的要把了，干的六个是呢，不。如果他那个没法多的起码的，如果的你起码的他那个没法多是的，我他那要把那个多还是吧？被电脑写了。
你嘛的没法多个的是的基本的咯。
那他那个有个等待习惯，有是吧？对吧？他那个有呢，前面的那把没法多的，也是前面他的了，前面的那把没法的，感觉过的是呢。如果他那个有是呢，前面的那个的，他那个那个的是呢。如果的제목이 단위도 매바 동그래.如果단위기 재미기 단위도 매바 또 어디 단위도 여봐라 이런 찬스. 여기도 와. 단위도 여봐 여기도 와. 니나시라고 다 간다. 니도 다 단위도 여 세워대 재미기 있는 바 가지고 내가 단위 좀 봐. 근데 드시고 너도 돼.
So these lines talks about in order to perceive the existence, in order to perceive conventional existence, then it must be not damaged by any valid cognitions. So in order to perceive a conventional existence, then it must be something that is not damaged by any valid cognitions. So whether it is a valid cognitions analyzing the ultimate, or it is a valid cognitions analyzing the conventionalities. So regardless of the types of valid cognitions, then it must not be affected by any of the valid cognitions. So then, for example, a rabbit's horn. So if someone were to assert that rabbit's horn exists conventionally, then it is damaged by valid cognitions. Why? Because valid cognitions realize the non-existence of the rabbit's horn conventionally. So the rabbit's horn exists conventionally. Someone were to say that a rabbit's horn exists conventionally, then this is damaged by all valid cognitions. Why? Because valid cognitions realizes that the rabbit's horn does not exist even conventionally. So when valid cognition realizes that a rabbit's horn does not exist conventionally, it damages the position that rabbit's horn exists conventionally, right?
也看到谈的有老有嘛的，也是论吹嘛，是吧？
好了，
너 트이고라. 내가 도도만 김이 당한 거 얼마. 내가 도도만 시제 좋아. 제가 느끼지 않아도 김이 느끼는 나의 무슨 소리 들어. 다 아니 요 세와데 아니 요서 네 세와데 너 트이고 대신에 또 취임 봐. 주미 따라서 나이 원시 요아 이 주미 따라나 기바 요아 주미 따라나 기바 되우신 따라나 요 되우신 따라나 원시 이거라 여바 장제 레마도 되우신 따라나 요마 와스 이거라 여바 장제 되우신 따라나 예스 따라나 전에 예스 와요 말와 나 예스 와요 말와 오 근데 이거 막 겨우데 이거보다 한지 누스 뭐 님보 메가 따 그러와 너 추하시 뭐라 여바 장제 그만 누구다 너 추하시 뭐라 여바 잘라 혼자 여바 줘봐는 한지 누스 뭐 님보 메가 따 예세 모두 타마도 좋아 님보 메가 따 좋아 우마바 데려와 우마 단조 너 추하시 뭐 따라 혼자 여바 줘봐 한지 누스 뭐 하는 님보 메가 따 예세 우마바 친구 실장 된다고 말했어 막 근데 수관지 된다고 말했어 좋아 당연히 여서 나 너 트이 뭐라 니 여바 장지 아니 요 군조도 요 슬라와이나 예 님보 메베 계샤리스 님보 메베다 우마바 쓰이나 된다고 말했어 어디래 너도
So here it says, magically emanated horses, elephants, and the like, so do not exist even conventionally. Therefore, the proposition that it is the Prasangika approach to proceed as conventionally existent, what only exists from the perspective of a mistaken mind, is a meaningless babble. So to say something exists conventionally or not conventionally, so if it exists, if it merely exists for a mistaken consciousness, then you say that it exists conventionally. So however, you cannot assert that. So something exists for a mistaken consciousness does not exist as it does not exist conventionally. Something exists for a mistaken consciousness does not exist conventionally, just like the pebbles and sticks then appears as a horse and elephant, then you cannot say that the horse and elephant exist conventionally, right? So then if someone were to say that it is a Prasangika approach, saying that Prasangika approach proceed that what exists from the perspective of a mistaken mind is conventionally existent. So if someone were to say that or say that it is the Prasangika propositions or approach, then this is meaningless babble. Meaningless babble.
예, 나들이 대샤게 와. 좋아 배주는 대샤는 좋아 진짜 와. 뭐 아니지. 어디 가서 이 야이다. 와.
Yeah. So I will stop here, and if you have any question, then you can ask now.
원래 좀 조금 차는 소리에서 와. 예, 참아지. 나는 그래서 아마도 소마 인간도 좀 참아 따봐. 이 남이 이거는 또 좋은 거 같이 그래서 와.
인간이 더 잘해.
뭔가 좋은 거 같이 나도 그 사람은 지금이 또 지만 로사리스 와. 오늘 많이 앉아 가서 같이 지어다 가더라 와.
Yeah.
Mithila,
So then,
Mithila, can I ask one question? Ultimate truth is non-deceptive, right? It's non-deceptive from the point of view of an Arya in meditative equipoise. That's what is stated here, right? So an Arya outside meditative equipoise will not perceive the non-deceptiveness of the object outside in meditative equipoise, right? So my question is therefore, is that the reason
outside of meditative? Outside of meditative equipoise,
does not perceive, as because the statement says that it perceives non-deceptiveness of the object under the context of meditative equipoise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So outside meditative equipoise is a different story, right? So not the same thing. So my question is, how is that the reason why at the beginning of the text there was a mention that the ultimate truth is also illusory. So I want to ask the question, how is it the ultimate truth is illusory, or is it not illusory at all? The ultimate truth. So my understanding is that it can be illusory because of the fact that this statement that meditative that the deceptiveness is only found during meditative equipoise by an Arya belief, during the state of meditative equipoise. Outside that is another story, right? So my question is, how does or does not ultimate truth illusory or not? You got it? I want to know whether ultimate truth, how you can call it illusory? Illusory would mean that it does not present itself objectively unmistakably, right? No, illusory means that it's like conventional truth. Illusory means that it has two factors. One, it presents itself as inherently existent, and the second factor is that is not the truth. So that makes it illusory, because it's not the ultimate truth presents itself as objectively accurate. So how can it be therefore considered as illusory? You got me, guys?
Yeah, so basically the question is how to call an ultimate truth is also illusory, right? So how does an ultimate truth become illusory or does not become illusory?
Yeah, is it illusory or is it not illusory?
Yeah, so ini di bisa nang lo la di tindi shiki tu tunan de mai na di mi lu ares di pawan nyam shaki ye che ye ngo la de tunan de ma di mi lu ares ini di shiki orwa ini di pawan di nyam cha le lang wai na papa di nyam cha le lang wai na ini di kasa di mi lu wa de tong gi de bes de mi lu e tuan de tong gi de bes nhâm nang lo lại ni ti mi lu wa thön de thong gi ro ni ti nhâm sha le lang wai na ti mi lu wa thön de yang thong gi nas ti không gi an chi wa ma re te ni không gi an ti shi re ti nhâm sha le lang wai na ti mi lu wa de yang thong gi res ka za ni thong gi ma res ta da ni ti thong gi re yang thong gi ma re ni ti ni ba de ni pi sha ti nang lo la yang tön dam tem ba de yu ma res tunan temba te yang kyuma res ini te tunan temba te kyuma re yang na ma res yang ini te kyuma ina yang yin chu kan de ba ini te kyuma ma res yang ma yin chu kan de ba
최단 주마 따서 이 주마 따서 샤워를 해서 들어와 주마 따서 가서 남자 나가다고 뒤도 주마 따서
去他们那点他们点吧的kyuma ta bu ina
주마 따서 인생하고
去他们的kyuma ta bu
주마 따서 그래서 라니 쪽에 동바 주마 따서 이게 이제 시험으로 와 주마 따서 잘로가 자서 어디로 와 가서 냐샤시 가서 동바는 지지도 냐바샤는 와 냐샤 가서 동바는 지지도 냐보는 냐바샤 제토라 상에 가라 냐샤를 때 냐샤 가서 되게 냐바샤는 니바도 지랑데 라니 동바들라 니바도 마녀 비가니 제토 가서 추 가면 토바이나 주마다
点他们点吧ina
뭐라
去他们那点他点吧那丢吧了
너무 많이 있어 주마다고 자자라 이쪽 주마다 뭐 주마다 주마다고 해서 된다데 뭐 로고 맞다
혼 단다 네 뒤주와 뒤 된다点吧的kyuma reverse kyuma ta bu reverse
주마다고 자그리 해서 보다
된다点吧yang kyuma ta bu 된다点吧yang
아주 주마다고 자그리 해서 보다 뭐 스페셜이 가서 빼도 발라서 안다 냐샤에 가서 동반데 지지도 냐바샤 와 예, 냐바샤 출라 출셔바나 냐바샤 때 뒤에서 가서 제토라 서 와 제토 설레오데 냐샤 이거 때라니 임비트 동안 이거를 많은 거 최간디 예 공부하이나 주마다고 차도 그래 해서 최간디 주마다고 차도 그래 냐샤도 이거도 봐 에로스나 최간디 주마다고 차도 말이스 주마다고 차마도 거기 나와다 뭐 레오 해서 주마다고 차왔나 덴버도 매봐 덴버도 매봐 대동 주마다 와서 대동 주마다 제단지 덴버도 동화 주마다 와서 어떤 작은 예시 보면 코로나에 정말 예시 이렇게 시고 말. 내가 되면 최기 정말 예시 이렇게 시고 말. 물론 그냥 타고와 차우디 덴버트에 동안 주마다 예시를 뭐. 덴버트가 매봐. 어떤 차스는 그럼 덴버트 최단지 덴버트에 동안 예시를 해라고 와. 덴버트에 동안 예시. 덴버트에 동안 최단지 덴버트에 동안 해라고 와. 최관리는
thì nhâm sai gặp sự na thì chế độ cái gặp sự nên chế độ cái gặp sự nhâm sai cái nửa thì mà nhâm vậy na nên chế chưa tham gia thì cái mà tạm cái làm gì tụi cái tung ba cái mà tạm thì cái cái mà tụi bạn nào bạn nào chỉ nên thì cái mà tụi bạn tụi cái tung ba cái mà tạm nên cái thay đổi đấy nên cái cái mà cái mà tạm rồi đấy không cái mà
주마다 예시는 또 최단지 주마다 예시는
truyền đam tem ba thì cái mà tạm
자서 된다 된다 미루와
chỉ rằng như thì truyền đam tem ba na thì chuyện tham gia thì nó là cái chuyện rồi
대중 주마다 예시
chuyện tham gia này thì cái mà
주마다 예시
truyền tông
주마다 무슨 대중 주마다 덴버트에 동안
thì cả tem ba chủ bản nào yang nào năng sinh tem ba chủ bị tông ba cái mà tabo
주마다 될 잡을 주마다
chỉ rằng như thì truyền đam tem ba thì yang cái mà tabo thì như thì cả thì nhâm sa lấy lang vậy na nhâm sa cái nửa thì mà nhâm bị cả là mà nhâm na như thì chuyện tham gia truyền đam tem ba thằng quý ba như cái mà tabo thì sai đấy
최단지 주마다 자구를 위해서 냠샤다 공부는 냠바샤 집에 빼 찌주도 냠바샤로 와 이 샤베 가라 빼 냠샤기 니바데 마냥바 제토지가 쓰상도 최가리 도나 덴버트에 동안
truyền đam tem ba thì cái mà tabo thì sai rồi
옛날 때만 주마다 최단지 주마다를 해서 주마다를 해서 최단지 주마다를 해서 주마다를 해서 덴버트에 동안 해서 나가 최단지 주마다를 해서 지나가서 주마다를 차 맞춰서 가서 뭐 뭐라 같이 시고로 와 최단지 덴버트에 얘도 주마다를 했어 그러니까 옛날 때만 주마다를 했어 덴버트에 동안 주마다를 했어 군도 때만 얘도 주마다를 했어
군주 tem ba yang thì cái mà tabo thì chuyện tham gia truyền đam tem ba sang mà thì cái mà tabo thì để làm cái chuyện tham gia rồi 군주 tem ba yang ina yang truyền đam tem ba ina yang nên thì cái mà tabo thì sai đấy
또 주마다를 해서 주마다를 들고 자고 얘도 주마다를
đến đông cái mà tabo sai
주마다를 했어
chuyện tham gia 군주 tem ba truyền đam tem ba nên thì đến đông cái mà tabo sai đấy rồi
최단지 얘도 주마다를 했어 군도 때만 제가 된다 때만 가르쳐서 최단지는 참으로 살
cái gì nó không bị chịu thì cái cái gì truyền đam tem ba thì cái mà tabo rồi cái mà tabo
군도 때만 주마다를 했어
yeah. So when one is in the meditative equipoise, focusing on the emptiness, and then when they rise up from the meditative equipoise, while the power or while the force of the meditative equipoise is not yet generated or deteriorated, then they see all phenomena that includes conventional truth and ultimate truth as like illusion, which is empty of true existence. So, however, if the power or the force of the meditative equipoise degenerates, then all phenomena do not appear as like illusion, which is empty of true existence. So, like illusion means that it appears as truly existent, but it is not fully existent. Then, like an illusion. So, when when an Aryas or when a practitioners in the meditative equipoise and when they rise up, and if the force of the meditative equipoise not yet degenerated, then all phenomena that includes conventional truth and also the ultimate truth, then it will appear like an illusion, empty of true existence. So, however, if the force of the meditative equipoise degenerated, then all phenomena will not appear as like an illusion, empty of true existence.
그때지 가르 코이 가르
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I need the
그러지요 말
yeah, 가자디 파바이나 디 얌샤 레 랑와이나 에디 디 밀루와 디 얌 비트윈 디 통게레스
그거 좀 그냥 말했어 아시마 공도 물어와서
디 투난 디 바디 밀루와레스 에디 디 당라 디 시기오라 어벤 얌샤 예시 기고라 에 투난 디 바디 밀루와레스 에디 디 얌샤 레 랑와이나 디 미티니 디 밀루와 디 통게 미티니 통게레스
동그래서 물어와서 가서 난다 가르치는 가서 멀리 리반 신이 지니스라고 멀리 리반 Malaysia Sema Sinishi Ajarwa, Malaysia Sim Anjo, Malaysia Simi Sini. They showed the Chute, all ties in the Chute Manoa,
去得多
or Chute, Sema, not in the Chute, totally, no, it's a Chute, your body, Chute Manoa, Lord, when it's charted, Lord. As you put on also, none king Manoa as a Jatan Kakari. No, so the nation king below us, Kishi Miwa, and you put it together, but the Hitio, none in king below us, Kishimba. You know, you none in king below us, no one, she, and I hope I saw none in king below us. You don't know below us, loading, treated, but you are but two Shinjila, Sematic, you know, take treating about two Shinjila, treated a Maloa,
去得了
Maloa, more, Maloa. Was a Maloa, and Malaysia, but Simi Tim Loroa. 知道去的了没了啊？是的，去的不是呢，去的了没了啊？我知道没了，这也是看的。
Yeah. So, and then according to Prasangika, when we say a non-deceptive, sorry, the definitions of valid cognitions is a knower that is non-deceptive. So according to Prasangika, the definitions of valid cognition is a knower that is not deceptive, or a non-deceptive knower, or yeah, non-deceptive knower, or incontrovertible knower, if you as this word probably we are more familiar with. So as long as the mind realize a phenomena, then that phenomena is non-deceptive. And however, when we talk about the non-deceptive here in this context, in the context that the modes of appearance and modes of abiding are concordant, therefore it is non-deceptive, then it talks about something that exists something that exists in reality as it appears. So then that is the general non-deceptive that we are talking about, or general non-deceptions that we are talking about. So it still depends on context. Non-deceptions in the context of in general, and then according to what is realized by our valid cognitions, then that phenomena become non-deceptive.
所以thank you，我跟你介绍，thank you。
你现在我不是跟了，也是 conventional或者my son how does it help us to compare our meditation as illusory compared to the illusoriness of a mirage, a dream, a reflection of the moon in the sea, and so on and so forth, Gandhavasiti, and so on and so forth. How does it help us? Because these phenomena are conventionally untrue, as defined here. Yeah. So if they're conventionally untrue, if we meditate on something to compare the fact of, we can understand an emptiness as illusory, exactly like these mirages and the mirror images and so on. How does it help us? Because these are objects that are conventionally untrue. Why can't we compare to something which is conventionally true? So in other words, it itself also mislead us. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't quite get your question. So
No, when you meditate on the illusoriness of our perception of phenomena, as compared to an illusion of a mirage, a reflection of a dream, of a reflection in the lake, and so on and so forth, how does that help us in the
meditation on illusoriness,
right? How does it help us to understand that phenomena lacks inherent existence? How does it help us then? Because why we are using objects of meditation, the illusoriness of these mirages, and they are defined as conventionally not existing or not true, as received by the ordinary conventional mind. You get me?
Okay.
So how does it help us? Because we are always been meditating on that, as Buddha taught, compared with 6 or 8 examples of illusoriness. So how does it help? How does it directly help us? I'm sorry, that's
yes. And yeah. So ini di cuma tabu kombe kapla. Ini angsu di pi di kami tadi syagi oro. Mi lam tang di mi kyu kami tadi tadi tisa Tsongkhapa ro. Ini di pi kami tadi di syagi oro. Ini angsu di cuma tabu om ya la. Ini pi den su di syago be kim jen de kariris. Ain sina ini yana di angsu di cuma tabu om ya di pingiris kain sina pi den su被点说你的探业度yang lobares lobe kunzores ini dia lobe kunzo ina ya ina ini angzo di kimata bu komia di kande pengires
다 습배 라바로와 라바도 지마다고 까오데 땅아서 차고 덴버트가
cuma rapa ka tu
라바로와 다 습배가서
被点说的rapa
라바도 파타니
잘했다
그거는 많이 봐 주말 그 뭐 따라서 나 주말 봐 그래서 라바도 봐 당부 라바도 봐다 하고 참 맞아 인지 참고도 신유도 때 해봐 하고는 때봐 맞아 냥바샤는 두서 만들어야 전부 라바도 지가 하고는 그 수가 두고 말아
di chamu di benzin di
이게 좀 참고 들어와 인지 참고도 인지 그 나시 인지 속 나와 나시 때 내가 하고 그러와 그래서 가자 참고도 봐 키야 뭐 가자 라바도 주마다 버스 라바도 봐 키야 그래서 키우디 성반에 가서 忘记了，他就忙起来就忘记了，那说了说啊，他忘记了那就得了，没把东西吧，干着的，那是一些了呗，一起写吧，但那他那个，还是抄是吧，对吧？个吧，start with this，苹果有意思，苹果的嘛都朗上过了，搞下抄不起来啊，朗上搞下个呢，我们搞下喇叭是轻了，来过去，朗上搞下抄不出搞图嘛，是吧？我这苹果也是当中。모두 가리나 동보 아빠도 시야 개체 뭐래 아빠도 시야 이나 참아 시야 이스라엘 아이 뭐라 나는 주사 유와
그래서 di because milam tham miguina da tin kungso diang lobe kunso ra inna ya ne de pe ra ba ro lobe kunso ina ya ni de pe ra ba ina di because tin le kale ni de mo de ta tu ro aso because that is true that even though those dream, mirage, Gandhava city, and etc., they are conventionally untrue. So, however, they are the course examples us to be eliminated. They are the course examples, or they are the course cases for us to know that they do not exist as it appears, like an illusion. So, another way of saying this is dream, mirage, they do not exist as it appears. So if we understand in relation to these course examples, then slowly then we can train our mind in recognizing or realizing the non-existence of the determining object of apprehension of true existence does not exist as it appears. So those dreams, mirage, and etc., they are more they are the example in relation to the course, in relation to the sense consciousness. So when we negate those, then we also gain the experience, right, that they do not exist as appears. Then slowly we habituate our mind with this realization. Then we negate the object of negations, the subtle object of negations, which is the determining object of apprehensions of true existence.
那个是熊龙在那里过的，我是如果是连把那个都是背是那给过，背是呢，哦，如果连把没把哈过来了。
Tempa majuba.
Demba majuba hakoyala thoma nasu suni de pela shade suni de shigi suni de da shigi pe khatu pa lawa ina nyugo de demba tubanji bi denji de weni so demba tubanji ba nashi yo marda as demba tubanji de roa ta nyugo pungo ba jan bi naso pungo demba tubanji de pungo demba tubanji de de pungo demba tubanji ba nashi yo marda pe de nashi shigi zune de shigi jing doas ye nashi de das ye shigi zune shigi jing ba nashi me doas o ta pungo demba tuban jing ba nashi de yo ma re es na so de ja zune no pe zune la ke wo demba de ba du pe ko zune ke wo.
Yeah, so similarly in the text, you also says that in let's say one how say yeah, so one apprehends the aggregates as truly existent. However, what is apprehended does not exist as it appears. So then, in order to understand these, then the example, just like the example, reflections of a face is not a face. So it does not exist as it appears. Similarly, in order to understand the aggregates does not exist as it appears as truly existent, and then we also apprehend it as truly existent, right? So it does not exist as it appears. So in order to understand these, the course also a coarser example like the reflections of a face is also given. So a coarse example is given in order to realize something more subtle.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's
Thank you very
really-
much, Mr. La. Thanks for the
Yeah,
clarification.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to be so the chicken budget on the water. We're going to go to the TV, TV, Thomas, as well as the Jabara. You come as one of the little girl. Yet, rather than Zara, you do that. Martin Mamma, that Martin the Pan, you do that. I want to take it, see it, and this and etc. Come as a people and Sunday to my little Zalila Pachidia, certainly, or so.
So we conclude this session with dedication. We dedicate these roots of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to excellent happiness of all sentient beings. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to for all upholders of Buddha's teaching, mainly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live eons long, to have good health, and may all their holy wishes and enlightened activities be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all directions. And we also dedicate these fruits of virtue to for our beloved teacher, Kapshin Lama Topon Rinpoche. May the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche be swiftly returned and continue to turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of teachings and sentient beings, so that we will have the opportunity to receive the precious teaching from Rinpoche again. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to the world peace. May excellent happiness prevail in the world. May wars, conflicts, disaster, such as earthquakes, volcano, and etc., the disaster, natural disaster, pandemic, be pacified immediately. Gewa di ten dang zhuwa kun la gan ben dang gewa je sun lo sang zha wa yi ten ben yin bo rin do se je shu jiang ju sen jiu rin bo je ma ke pa nang ki ju ji nan ba men ba yang kon ne kon do pen wa shu jiang pe pa wen ji da ken ba dang kun do sang bo de yang se jin de de da kun ge je su da lo je ge wa di da dang je rang du mo yi da wa rin bo je ma ke pa nang ki ju ji ge wa nyang ba men ba yang kon ne kon do pen wa shu Yawa Rinpoche ma ke pa na ki kyu ji ke pa nyam pa me pa yang kong ne kong do pe wa sho yin che sun do ju be lang chi che se se kan jin den du gun chan na pe mo ten tsin ga zu la sa wa ten so shin de le do sho yin ka ten pen ten ma lu ba kan le ju we sang pe shin nu ka ten zu me ten tsin ga zu la sa wa ten so du she lu do sho yin ka ke sa ni rang zu do sang ya wa yin se kyu wa ji ra chan shi ki ka yu ma du be ten ten lu ba du be ge le zu yong zu zu be tu ten Rinpoche shi dang du be tsin tsin pe wa la du du be gu jia jen zu be zhi zun lama su wa de pe te ma lu jun wei gu ji fu ki wei de dang ma gyu zhu wa yi tu la chi tu zun ma zi be fu lu bo shi wa shi de ye ra bang wei dang chu zun jin la dang ge sen dang ju tu gen la bo jie lu pe de pe yang zhu sa be zun ge san lu jie pe du niu xie zhu bi xin gang de pen dang de wa ma lu jun wei ne jie ren si huang de zhen ge zi sha pe si de pa tu de yu ji